stress belly. How do you know if you have one? You're doing everything right. Consuming much less sugar and fat, working out virtually every day, as well as saying no to beer 30 and white wine o'clock. Yet, while the remainder of your body seems to be toning up, there's nothing you can do to shift that pesky fat around your middle. You can criticize aging, that beer behavior, or the weather condition. Yet there's one cause you can actually do something about: your demanding and very stressful life. In this video, we are going to look at some of the things you probably don't think of when you are thinking about your diet and exercise. That one thing is stress and its effects on your life, overall health and well-being. Stress has 0 calories but has the ability to put on more weight than a dozen donuts. In this video, you will learn how to identify the stress and do something about it. You need to keep in mind that this video is only an overview based on research and is for information and educational purposes only. It is not medical advice and is not intended to be. It should not be substituted or interpreted as medical advice. Before you make changes to your diet or exercise routines, please consult your primary care doctor or healthcare professional. Do not follow this advice if you are pregnant or nursing. It is much better to be safe than sorry. The cortisol link. Excess fat around the middle can be brought on by an imbalance of cortisol, a stress and anxiety hormone developed in the body's adrenal glands. Cortisol is a hormonal agent that is important to provide us the activity we require to get motivated and concentrated, which is why it's usually raised in the early morning. It's additionally released during exercise and periods of acute stress and anxiety, and regulates energy by choosing the required quantity of either carb, protein, or fat from the food we eat that the body requires to manage what we're facing. You may have become aware of the fight or flight feeling that occurs when you're faced with a difficult event or stressful situation. Throughout this, cortisol is released from the body's adrenal glands, floods the body with sugar to give muscles an instant supply of power. Insulin is additionally produced to prevent the glucose being kept as fat and make it openly available to offer you the prompt power to handle the occasion. As soon as the tension is resolved, hormone equilibrium returns to typical. That remains in an ideal world where all your stressors are brief, as they remained in our forefathers' day, when their largest concerns were leaving from saber-toothed tigers. Our stressors are chronic, which means there is no end in sight. Do you ever find yourself saying it never ends? While a little stress is great for you, as well as it can give you the energy to achieve a task, an interview, job challenge, or exam, when it's recurring as well as chronic, and you're constantly fretting concerning things you are faced with, you cannot manage such a high level of work or level of difficulty, because your cortisol levels will be constantly increased. If your stress is not managed, you are likely to become anxious, fearful, depressed, and have difficulty sleeping. Research has shown such chronic stress can impact your immune system as well as elevate your blood pressure, boosting your danger of heart problems. It can additionally trigger you to put on weight and also to have difficulty dropping weight. That can affect your weight if you're craving sugary treats to deal with your tension, drinking or smoking. Persistent stress along with a poor diet plan and also being overweight can likewise increase swelling, which can further exacerbate any health problems you already have. Elevated cortisol levels created by persistent stress have also been linked to weight gain, and a study performed by researchers found that people that had greater levels of cortisol in their bodies often tended to have larger waist measurements and also a higher body mass index than those with reduced levels. Further studies revealed that excessive weight linked high cortisol levels to higher incidences of obesity. So, just how excess cortisol give you excess tummy fat? Cortisol can release fat from storage space as well as send it to your stubborn belly, which in itself might likewise boost the production of this hormone. Secondly, high blood sugar teamed with the insulin reductions that is brought on by excess cortisol can starve cells of energy. The body responds by sending appetite signals to the mind, which might result in overeating. In this situation, any type of extra glucose will certainly obtain will be saved as fat in the body. Finally, cortisol might influence appetite and cravings, as shown in a study released. In other studies showed an association between increased cortisol levels and greater calorie consumption in ladies. Here are 3 indications you might have stomach fat triggered by stress and anxiety. 1. You have massive cravings throughout the day. Anxiety triggers a boost in cravings. If you seem like you can consume seconds or thirds after completing morning meal or dinner, or you usually have that all-day drive to snack, particularly on sweet or fatty foods, you may have an imbalance of cortisol. 2. You feel overwhelmed. You feel like I can't take this, is a common cry with cortisol imbalances. It's that sensation that if someone gives you one more thing to do, another choice to make, or another trouble to address, you will take off, break down, or both. 3. Exercise makes you want to eat everything in sight. After working out, do you really feel so ravenous you could consume a gigantic hamburger or plate of pasta rather than a healthier meal such as chicken, fish served with vegetables? If you feel so hungry after exercise that you desire to consume foods that are super high in calories, you might well have an imbalance of cortisol. You may be doing exercise that elevates your cortisol super high levels. Here are 5 methods to fight stress tummy. Consume high nutrient density foods. These are foods such as whole grains and also veggies and low-fat healthy proteins. Tea, for example, a delicious serving of roast or veggies with lean chicken or a fillet of salmon. Another example could be some fresh tomatoes as well as basil drizzled with olive oil, cucumber sprinkled with dill, and the list goes on. Organic veggies are best. The main list of things that are good to include in your diet are fruits and veggies, the majority of beans, lean healthy meats, healthy fats such as tree nuts, coconut, avocado, and olive oil. Allow some cheat foods. Cheat foods are ones that don't fall on the list of nutrient-dense foods. It's okay to have some of these foods. When you try and cut these foods out altogether is often when you find yourself overindulging and then feeling guilty. The treats you allow need to be done in moderation. If you want a glass of wine or a beer, a piece of chocolate, or that tasty treat you enjoy most, go ahead. Just do so and try not to let the sweet foods you choose be more than 20% of your meal. The idea is that the stress you put on yourself with strenuous and rigorous diets and depriving yourself of tasty foods you enjoy is not sustainable. By depriving yourself of these foods can actually add to your stress, and the idea is to decrease stress and be more healthy, right? By treating yourself, you have a sustainable way of eating and reducing the hormones that cause you stress. Walk 10,000 steps a day. Taking a stroll is not just a fantastic method to melt calories. It also actually helps with clearing your head by aiding in releasing potent brain chemicals like serotonin, norepinephrine, and also dopamine, every one of which are necessary to a satisfied state of mind. The 10,000 steps a day target seems like a great deal, but really only amounts to an hour to hour and a half of walking a day. Of course, this all depends on how fast you walk. If you think about it, the average individual walks around 4,000 steps a day without much effort. You can quickly get to 10,000. When you get to that level, try to get to 12,000 and afterwards 15,000 by utilizing an activity monitor. You'll be shocked at just how easily you can reach your goals. However, if 10,000 steps is not realistic for you, do what you can and build from there. Take warm baths. Taking warm baths frequently has been revealed to reduce cortisol levels. This is something that any individual can do. Also, if you only have 2 minutes, try using aromatherapy. This will certainly help you unwind by involving your senses. Plus, as your body temperature level rises during a warm bath, endorphins, your body's natural feeling great chemicals, are raised. Use soothing mind techniques to relax your mind. Decreasing your stress and anxiety levels does not need to require practicing meditation for an hour on a daily basis. A few mind hacks that can help are: the first method is tell yourself what people think of me is none of my business or concern. That functions when I believe someone might be critical of something I'm doing. The truth is that people are not as concerned about us or what we are doing as we think they are. Once we realize this, we can be at ease and less stressed and anxious. The second method is when you start to freak out, ask yourself, is there anything that exists that you can control or have control over? The majority of the things that concerns you are things you have no control over. So why bother giving these things the power to cause you stress? Once you understand this, the stress is diffused and you feel relieved. The third method is a self-guided relaxation technique. Take a seat somewhere where you are comfortable. Take deep and several deep breaths through your nose and out through your mouth. Take whatever it is that is bothering you or causing you to be anxious and placing your mind away from you. Take a step back and allow it to become smaller. Continue to breathe and walk back and then turn your back on it and go to a place in your mind that is peaceful. Go to a place that makes you happy. As you go to this place, make this peaceful, happy place bigger and allow it to become as large as you like. This may sound crazy, but think about it. We allow things that cause stress to take way too much space in our minds. Why not take control and let things that are peaceful and non-harmful have more space and time in our life and minds? I hope this video was helpful. Hopefully you came away with some helpful tips and insights on what causes stress and how to deal with it. Down in the comments section, leave a comment on what you do to deal with stress. What relaxation technique do you find is helpful for you? Remember, a healthy lifestyle is a journey and a process, not a one-time event. Getting a flat belly should be healthy, safe, and most of all fun. Thank you for watching.